and crumpet-eating cunt.
Blog Talk Radio.
KMFDM, doing it again. A treat for the freaks. Truth or dare. Are you ready for this? The Metal Hammer of Doom don't care. In a world of... Sorry. That's right. You are listening to the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, your mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And boy, we got a great show for you tonight. For those of you who usually tune into our live show, and you're wondering, what the fuck, when did this go from 9 to 10 o'clock? Well, I had to finish watching MasterChef. And might I say, congratulations, Sean, you deserved it. You made the best plates tonight, I don't care what Gordon Ramsay says. This guy was strong all season. He was my pick from just about the start, and I'm glad he won. Congratulations, Sean. Fuck David. Anyway, enough of that. So we'll get back to our 9:30 start time in the coming weeks. But yeah, I had to finish watching MasterChef, my summer delight. In any case, tonight's show, a personal favorite of mine. We try to focus on the albums, the newest albums of the week. We try to get a variety in there. I like to let Cooper pick some. I try to pick the popular ones, the ones that I think I get the most listeners, quite frankly. But occasionally something comes out and I just go, no, this I want to listen to, this I want to talk about, this I'm passionate about. And I am a huge KMFDM fan. I have been since high school when Angst came out and broke through and became a popular album. Popular being a depends on how you want to define popular, but popular for KMFDM. I've been with the band ever since. I've gone back and listened to their earlier albums. What do you know, Deutschland? It's all for money. And I do the various breakups and changes in bands like MDFMK and Excessive Force. I've stayed with the band. I've been with the good. I've been with the bad. And here we are with a personal best of compilation called KMFDM Rocks, Milestones Reloaded. A lot of focus on their later post-audio stuff, but a fair representation of KMFDM nonetheless, and I'm excited to talk about it and share it with my brothers in arms. First, the co-host of this show, the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
Well, it's a good thing you got to me eventually, because Sing Song Time with Mark Radulich is, I don't think that's a new podcast for you to backdoor pilot.
Well, what?
I said Sing Song Time with Mark Radulich is not a good podcast for you to try to backdoor pilot.
Oh, all right. I'm excited. What can I say? But the more excited I get, look, I'm on drugs. Can we just stop the podcast? Jesse Starcher, welcome to the show. Listen, I got something. I'm on drugs. Okay?
All right.
I'm on goofballs, basically. No, I'm on an appetite suppressant, which is an amphetamine called Phenerin, I believe it's called. because I'm on a medical weight loss diet. You know, trying to not be King Kong Bundy. You know, Vader, that sort of thing.
Giant haystack.
Trying to lose my one-man gang physique. And, you know,
so you can look more like a Keith.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get healthy and trying to lose an excessive amount of weight that I've been carrying for a couple of years now. And part of that is they put you on an appetite suppressant called Phenerin, I believe. And it's an amphetamine, like I said, and it gives me a lot of energy, and I love it. This is exactly the kind of diet I've always wanted to be on. Eat nothing and do drugs. It's great.
Hey, you're like most hair bands before they got their big break.
Exactly. But it also gives me, like I said, it gives me tons of energy. And maybe a little, maybe makes me a tad manicky, just a touch, just smidge. Can you guys handle it? Can you fucking handle it?
Man, I tell you what, this is the fucking podcast for this shit to be going on. Damn. We're gonna be amped up with some KMFDM and fucking Marks on drugs. Wow. Metal Hammer of Doom history.
All right, let's get serious here. Normally when we start these shows, when we're not discussing Coop's love life, you know, I ask you, you know, have you ever heard of these bands? I know for a fact Jesse Starcher's never fucking heard of KMFDM.
Yeah, practically.
Yeah, but I mean, Jesse, you're close to me in age. You're in your late 30s, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 40. Jesse's close, and then Robert Coop is a wee babe. But how did you not hear of KMFDM in the heyday of Mortal Kombat soundtracks and when industrial first became like semi-popular in the mid-90s? Because I mean, surely you've heard of some of the industrial bands that were rising in popularity at the time. I mean, or am I completely off and you had no idea this was happening?
Oh, dude. KMFDM was off of my radar completely. There was no, you could say that I loved the Mortal Kombat movie, and I can remember my friend letting me borrow the soundtrack to that movie, and I listened to it, and I had to have heard KMFDM on there, but I only remember it for one solitary song, and that's, you know, the theme to Mortal Kombat. And so I don't know.
That's actually not KMFDM, though.
What's that?
That's not KMFDM. I'm actually pulling up the soundtrack now. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I knew that they weren't. They had Juke Joint Jezebel. Was that the song that was on that soundtrack? According to Ronnie, that was the one, right?
Yes.
Okay. I had no. We'll actually get to. I actually got to hear that in their past catalog, you know, as I was listening to some of their previous stuff, and I don't remember listening to that. Can you do me a quick favor and just name? You said the industrial scene was kind of taking off. KMFDM was, you know, I had no idea about. Was there any other bands that you could think of off the top of your head that were also rising along with them?
Sure. Around that time, I'm going to go old and new here, and I'm going to go slightly out of into the semi-industrial, semi-metal band. Fear Factory being probably the most popular. But there was also Sister Machine Gun, contemporaries of KMFDM, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, more on the underground side, Skinny Puppy, more on the mainstream side, God Lives Underwater.
Wow.
Of course, you know, there was also Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, Lords of Acid, more on the techno side, Utah Saints, which feature on here, Gravity Kills, that's the one I was thinking of. Gravity Kills was also one that leaned towards the more mainstream of the industrial bands of the time. Rammstein, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure when Du Hast became a hit single, but it was somewhere around then. So those were a few, and none of these are ringing a bell, huh?
No, Rammstein's probably the only one that I can remember seeing somewhat advertised that it caught my eye from. Or no, it wasn't Rammstein. I'm getting that completely confused. I'm thinking of Helmet. That's not.
Yeah,
that's not these guys. So, yeah, dude, the whole scene was totally, just passed me by. I mean, I was listening to, and this was funny because I sent you guys a message earlier this week after I had listened to, I think, one of the ones that you suggested. I think it was Angst. I went back, checked that out, and then all of a sudden I'm finding myself really craving for some of the stuff that I listened to around that era, and that took me to the famed DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, which I think that might be what I was listening to in the mid-'90s.
You were more into rap then, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I was more into rap, and I was kind of getting out of that, maybe piddling a little on the side with some Pantera, listening to a little bit of that, or maybe some Megadeth, but I really started leaning toward rap very heavy from the mid-90s, pop and rap from the mid-'90s up till about 2000 maybe. So yeah, man, this is going to be a fun little venture for myself because I have never ever listened to anything by these guys before up until this week. So I look forward to talking about it with you guys. All
right, now our resident youngin here, Mr. Robert Cooper. Let me ask you a question. Were you aware of KMFDM? I know dance music, industrial techno is not really your bag, and I respect that. But you were also a metal aficionado, and KMFDM has definitely traveled in the metal scene. At the very least, it was included on the list of metal release albums this year. That's how I knew it was coming out. So, I mean, were you aware of who they were and just avoided them because, dancing to a techno beat is not your thing?
Well, yeah, dancing to a techno beat is something I typically do in foreign languages, Asian languages, might I add, because Europop is trash. Like, seriously, Europop is like the worst goddamn thing I've ever heard. It's not country. Anywho, I've heard of KMFDM. There's actually a guy that does anime reviews on the internet that uses a song by KMFDM in his intro, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And from my talking to Mark Radulich for 3 years now, is it 3?
Going on 3.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, 3 years. I've heard of KMFDM. Really, like Rammstein, they were big when I was in like middle school. Like they still had some presence. So I heard them. Trying to think who else. Yeah, Fat Factory. And yeah, I call them Fat. I mean, yeah, Fat Factory.
You leave him alone.
Beyond that, yeah, industrial metal's not really my thing. Now, I'll tell you, there's some songs I heard in this, I was like, fuck yeah, this is great. And there's some other songs I was like, fuck this, where's the metal?
I'm going to go ahead right now and tell people, if you're listening to this and you're kind of like Coop and you're like, yeah, I'm not really into the club scene, I'm not a dancer, I want to fuck shit up in the mosh pit. If you're that guy, we applaud you. But you like KMFDM and you're just like, well, where Mark, can we just cut to the chase and get to the metal? Can we just hear the metalist KMFDM? Go ahead and give Money a shot. Still leans towards the more danceable stuff, but I really like the song Money. And if you're a fan of rap, it's even better. But as far as the most popular, most accessible, most metal years took place between the albums Angst and Extort. And probably the most accessibly metal album that they've ever done is Nihil. It's one of my favorites. It's in terms of just pure harshness and heaviness, it's one of their best. Not any there are no representations of it on here, unfortunately. They, like I said earlier, they did a couple of songs. Couple of their most popular songs are from the album Angst, and then they focused on the post Adios stuff. But if you can go ahead and give Nihil a shot, some individual earlier tracks that are still really heavy, Godlike is a good one. I think you'll find yourself really enjoying that version of KMFDM. But there's also a lot of danceable stuff too, a lot of poppy stuff. Power from the Extort album is got to be one of the most mainstream poppy-sounding KMFDM songs I've ever heard in my life. I'm surprised it didn't do better than it did in the charts. But that's sort of the KMFDM story. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson pretty much just took over the industrial as far as mainstream goes, and never looked back. So tonight we're going to go ahead and listen to this KMFDM Rocks Milestones Reloaded. As they say, the album is a personal best-of compilation by KMFDM protagonists and masterminds Sascha, Konietzko, and Lucia Cifarelli, who claim the reimagined remix pieces would be an ideal playlist for a live set, and it commemorates the band's 32nd anniversary. The band's been around for quite some time. So let's go ahead. Here's one of the newer tracks. This is the first track off the album. This is Kunst.
Get your ass back here. Get your ass back here.
I want to get back there, but I'm fucking hanging with KMFDM. I can't even fucking say it. KMFDM, really themselves to hell. KMFDM, really themselves to hell. KMFDM, really themselves to hell. Really themselves to hell. Really themselves to hell. Really themselves to hell. 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 Really themselves to hell.
From pronouncing that right, from the 2013 album of the same name, Kunst. And right off the bat, KMFDM's having a lot of fun. What did you notice about that song, Jesse? Did you pick up what the theme was?
Kill motherfucking Depeche Mode. Now, I have questions, sir, because you specifically said to me, you said to all of our listeners, that's not what it means. And of course, you explained to us, I think, what it actually means, what KMFDM means. Yeah. So my assumption here, being the guy that's, just listened to these guys this week and heard you talk about them here recently, this was obviously some kind of a rumor that was going around for quite a while in the early 90s or the mid 90s. And these guys just decided to adopt it. Is that what's going on here?
It says it in their Wikipedia page. I don't remember quite what the details are, but it does talk about how, I'm just going to pull it up real quick.
Do it.
Well, I'm doing that. Well, I'm going to come back to this. Rob, what did you think of the first song? Did you? No one told me did they pick up what the lyrics were, what the theme was. It's because it's also not the first time they've done that.
Well, I wasn't really paying attention much to the lyrics besides killing motherfucking Depeche Mode.
Okay, I'll tell you what it was. The lyrics were all band names. We're all album names.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I was wondering if that was the case. Because they none of the shit, it's just is that...
What was that?
I said, were they KMFDM album names?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
They were either names of full albums or names of singles. So Juke Joint, Jezebel, Are You, that every single thing that they said in the song, other than Kill Motherfucking Depeche Mode, was
the one thing we caught.
I'm actually surprised you guys didn't pick that up. I guess okay. If you don't really know the band that well, I can see where you would not understand this. Yeah, literally every single lyric in there was an album or a single title, straight through without stopping.
That's interesting, and I'll say the fact that there was a lot of lyrics in this made this actually interesting. It was more of a dancey song, but the thing that I liked is that they managed to kind of break up the more, I guess, instrumentally focused sections with content. Because there are some remixes on this album where I'm like, and this is why punk is 2 minutes long.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to read this straight from the Wikipedia page to answer Mr. Starcher. Success in America, 1990 through 1994. KMFDM recorded and released its fourth album, UAIOE, in early 1989 for distribution in both Europe, Jesus Christ, U.S. and Europe. Arrived at America
ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm on drugs. On December 16th, and commenced touring the U.S. with Ministry. By the way, another contemporary around this time was Front 242. I have to talk about them another time, but that's just one that I wanted to talk about real quick. During KMFDM's first U.S. tour, band members started using the phrase "kill motherfucking Depeche Mode" for the acronym to tease journalists who did not understand German.
Okay.
So that's where that.
I figured it was some kind of an in joke because obviously that's not what it meant, and I think they just like screw it, we'll fucking adopt it. Because, as you said before, these guys don't take themselves too seriously, which is, we're going to find that out here in a few songs. But and that's cool. I'm down with that. As for this song, damn, dude, you want to open up an album and you want to get me to like it. I like this song a lot, and this is one that I can turn on. I come down here for work in the morning. It's 8:00. I ain't had my coffee yet. I turn this shit on and I can start moving. You know, I'm like, okay, we're going to get shit done today. So I dig this. I dig this stuff.
What's your closest big city? Is it Columbia? Is it Cleveland? Is it or Columbus rather? Is it Cleveland? What's your closest big city in Ohio?
Yeah, I'd say Columbus.
Columbus. If you found out that there was a goth industrial club that you could get to in Columbus. And now after hearing this, would you take the missus and go dancing?
Shit, dude, I cannot wait. We've got what, about an hour and a half of a show here. You have stories to tell. I know it because I guarantee I'll never step foot in a goth industrial club at fucking all, especially with my wife. That's never going to fucking happen. I'm not saying
it would be funnier. Jesse and Mindy in a goth industrial club, or my grumpy ass in there.
Yeah, dude, I can see you going. If some tail drags you in there, you'll go. That's the thing. If some girl promises to give up the snatch, you're gonna follow her wherever she goes. That's why I didn't go to you on that one, Mr. Cooper. But I want to see what's gonna get Jesse up and dancing. I want to see him throwing high knees, doing the industrial dance like Skinny Puppy, which was a guy, not a band. Although that is also a band. There was a guy that we knew, and he used to wear the same Skinny Puppy T-shirt and like plaid or black skirt, and he was a man's man, but this was sort of the gimmick of the time. And as my friend Curly tells it, some pit broke sideways, and he nearly got buried, and Skinny Puppy saved him. He told that story all the time, and with a lot of embellishment. So I want to know what is it gonna take for Jesse Starcher to bring Mindy to the Goth Industrial Club and dance to KMFDM?
Fucking hell and high water. That's about all you could fucking plan on. I don't think I would. And personally myself, even if I don't know if this was, I can't imagine what I can't imagine something like this being played, and I wasn't a big bar hopper or anything like that when I was a kid, so or in college. So this stuff could have been playing at maybe the local bar, but there's no club whatsoever where I would have been like, oh yeah, we're hitting down, get the eyeliner, get the fucking women's skirts, we're heading down. That's not happening, and I don't think that's happening in my life, my friend.
From the album Kunst 2013, another track. This is the second track on our album here tonight. This is Animal Out. Immediately, as a longtime KMFDM fan, the first thing I pick up on that song is that guitar riff. One, they use it in the next song, and they use it actually kind of often. A lot of their riffs and beats are very recycled, and somewhat more dependent on lyrics to sort of differentiate from one song to the next. But I don't know. I mean, that one's a little bit more ambient than I like for my KMFDM. Cooper, I'm going to assume that was not one of your favorites?
Let's see. The thing is that it came at an early enough point in my KMFDM listening experience, a.k.a. this album, honestly, the song came to a point where I was like, all right, I could dig this. It was lively. I'll say it was really lively. It didn't really get stale. Now, I'll say the beat to this, or the guitar riff, or what have you, felt like something I had heard before. So there was kind of points off for that, but really this wasn't something I minded. I found myself even listening to it over again, tapping my foot. I think this wasn't one of the tracks. I think it's the next one that just had me going, oh, kill me. Because when I told you this was I think it was this. There was one of these before we hit drugs, a drug against violence. One of those I was just like, because this was let's see, let's take out those last two tracks. So this is about still an hour-long album. And there are some points where I'm like, there's a reason punk is 2 minutes.
You mentioned the length of the album, and I was telling you guys I was going back and listening to a couple of the previous albums. That's one of the things that I noticed was that, damn, they put some content on their albums. Now, content is, when I say content, I'm just talking about their songs there, okay? And they really fill an album up and use that full amount of space, because there was a few times, I think I was listening to I think I was listening to Angst, and I remember sitting there going, son of a bitch, this is, what's it been, like half an hour? I look at it, I'm on the third song. I'm like, what the fuck? This is taking forever. I couldn't believe how the length of time that had not passed. And I'm not saying that's a detriment. It's just, it's funny that I found myself doing that a couple times on these albums. Now, as for this song right here, it's definitely a head bobber. I would say that these early tracks are some of my favorite off of this album, and this was definitely a thumbs up for me. This is the first song we didn't have the girl singing, correct? The woman here, she wasn't in the first song, right?
Not for the part that I played.
Not that I recall.
Okay. All right. So I assume this lady is a staple amongst KMFDM, Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've definitely started adding Lucia, or at least someone singing backup vocals.
That's a hot name, by the way.
Since at the very least.
All right. Very good.
All right. Let's move on to this next one, because as an introduction, let me say this. One, it comes from the 1993 album Angst, and as I said, this is the one where KMFDM got really popular. If I could point to an album that drew in the metal crowd to start with, and drew in the mainstream, or as close as they could get to a mainstream audience, overprivileged white kids in suburban areas like us who would go to the teen nightclubs and listen to quote unquote the industrial, though they played a lot. They played a mix. I mean, we're talking. My cousin says to me once, she says, "This is my introduction to this world." She's like, hey, do you want to go out with me and my friends? And she was a little bit older than I was. So, do you want to go out with me and my friends to an industrial club? And I'd never heard that phrase before. And I'm like, well, what's industrial music? And she was like, well, you know what they call alternative, but alternative doesn't really describe anything. It's really industrial. That's how she put it to me. She's a little off. Industrial referred to a specific type of music, but these industrial clubs would expand out and play a variety of what was out at the time, and what was just burgeoning, under the surface, and would eventually explode. Pantera, Sepultura, Nirvana, they would play. I mean, they would just run the gamut. And then in the middle of all this, they played traditional industrial like Ministry, who at the time they were the two albums that were popular and that they would play from were Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste and Psalm 69. Thieves was from Ministry was a huge one. That's one of the very first Ministry songs I ever heard. But they would also play KMFDM. And so this next song was at the time the big accessible single that everybody knew. Everyone had the single that was into it. The single itself was like 10 tracks long. It's literally the same song 10 different ways. Go give it a look for a laugh. Okay, if you can find it on Spotify or just look it up, Google it and just see how many fucking remixes this thing got.
Wow.
And it wasn't done yet. They're still remixing the same damn song. But if someone said, look, point to the most accessible, most mainstream, most beloved song of all time by KMFDM, it's probably this one. This is KMFDM Light.
What we do for you, so good for you.
that's a little bit more heavier, that version of it, than the version that's on Angst. You've heard both versions, Jesse. Which version did you prefer, the original on Angst or that version?
I like this one a little bit better.
Why?
I would. The updated remix, I guess, is the only way I could say that the additions to it make it sound a little more palpable, I guess. If I remember correctly, the Angst one was more heavier, wasn't it?
No,
it wasn't Is it more dancey?
In my opinion, I thought it was more. I thought the original Light is more dancey than anything else.
Okay. Well, that's about the only thing I could think of is that I enjoy the newer remix. Of course, it is the first one I heard too. I heard the remixed version first. One of the things I want to kind of point out here, you can tell some of these songs just by the lyrical content that they are, from the 90s. And one of the things that I kind of picked up on was how almost, that type of song we just listened to, if you actually pick the lyrics out, you could almost see how it would have been, that song would have kicked some ass. Angst came out 93? And it kind of makes you think about what changed in music. Did the lyrics become more cynical, or most likely I became more cynical to where, something like that I hear, I'm like, man, that just sounds, it doesn't sound juvenile, but it sounds 90s. That's the word. I mean, it just sounds like something that would have came out of the 90s. But yeah, as for, again, this being the first one I heard, I give this one the nod just because for some reason I liked it a little bit more.
Now, you've only heard this version. You were saying one of these tracks drove you up the wall, Coop. Was it this one?
Oh, no, it's the next one.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like this one, listening to it again, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get into this. Like, honestly, I am not as opposed to dance music as one might think. I think what I'm opposed to is just, I guess, a lack of content and a lot of repetition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can do
more
one, I can do the other. What was that?
Something more techno-y.
Yeah, like I could do one or the other. Like, sure, I've listened to plenty of metal bands that are like, yeah, they're not saying much. Or, yeah, like, okay, yes, hang the Pope, hang the Pope, hang the Pope, hang him from a fucking rope. Actually, no, that song is awesome for 46 seconds of your life. Nuclear Assault, Hang the Pope. Which, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but actually when I do when we're doing like the prayer for family get-togethers, or if I'm having to do it at the table.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Don't give him the opportunity to say the prayer. I know that's everybody around the table is not hoping you get called on, man.
Oh, no, I can't do it nearly so fast, but I'm just kind of muttering, bless food, bless food, bless food, bless food.
Oh, okay.
but see, I'm doing it to the beat of Hang the Pope, and that amuses me so much.
So I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Pete. Pete's one of the guys that we used to go dancing with. My friends Pete and Tom, we were the crew for I would say during my graduate school years when we were still doing this. And we would shut down clubs in New York like the Bat Cave. It was really a club called the Bat Cave. Because there were not so many clubs at that point on Long Island anymore. We would pretty much have to exclusively go into Manhattan. And that was one of the big ones. But anywhere we went, where they were doing industrial / alternative / rock / whatever the hell gets you in the door. Pete was a really good dancer. Okay, Pete was a much better dancer than I. Pete was also like way aggressive. And Pete would make a big deal out of the fact that he was an aggressive dancer. Like, Pete's not a bully. Pete's a sweetheart. But he would go on for hours about how like an aggressive dancer he was and how he could clear a pit And you might be listening to this going, oh, God, what a dork. Dude, he got girls with this. There were girls that were into him because of it. So
I don't understand. I cannot fathom. I'm going to have to watch some YouTube or something. I don't know how do you dance at these type of clubs, Mark? If you want to wait and play this song and then, because this next song's, and then kind of regale us with a story, because I think that would probably be pretty nice.
All right, sure. All right, from the 1996 album, the last before things would go to hell, basically, for KMFDM as far as mainstream popularity. An album that should have hit but didn't. The album Extort, the song Son of a Gun.
Authorities confirmed today that members of the underground art collective and resistance group known as KMFDM have once again infiltrated the government's national surveillance systems, shutting down all access to their private citizens' data and firmly issuing this statement. Art over industry, art over war, art over fear, art over guns. Never quit, never surrender. Superheroes. Number 1.
Not like that song. How? I don't understand. That song's awesome. Man.
Well, this is one of the ones where I think it clicked that I used to listen to trance for a little bit, like maybe a year and a half. And I almost forgot all the trance bands because I used to be able to name them off. And yesterday I did a search and I remembered one. It was called Astral Projection. And this is I assume it's the way this remix is done because, again, this isn't a totally original track. They remixed this for this album, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I most likely it's the way this remix is done. I need to go back and find the original and give it a listen. But it, very, very trancey, in my opinion. Granted, they got the metal mixed in there, but
techno, you're right. It very much in like traditional, just dancey techno.
Yes.
Not as metal as some of the stuff. It certainly ain't Night Hill. That's for sure.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me that next Thursday on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, you can catch me and Mark discussing V for Vendetta by Alan Moore. It had that whole like a group of people like about to fucking overthrow the government feel. So there you go.
Which is fun, you know. I mean, they're a political band in the sense that, you know, they are talking about the world and that there are problems that they have with it, and they are pointing these things out. And some of it's gotten them actually in trouble because people don't understand irony. But you know, they also at times don't take themselves tremendously seriously.
It's gotten them in trouble?
Yeah, a lot of industrial bands get called Nazis. You know,
okay.
It doesn't help that they're from Germany, many of them.
No, it probably doesn't.
And then their look, you know, their look is very fascist, and that's part of it. That's the whole point.
Come to think of it, I have not seen a picture of these guys yet. So I've seen their album art, which is just fucking insane. It looks great, but I have not seen a picture of the actual band. So I'm going to go check that out.
Please look up pictures of Sascha and NS. It's fantastic.
All right.
Coop, now this one also drove you up the wall. It was too dancey, too techno-y.
Yeah, this was the one. It went on and on and on and on, and it didn't really do much beyond like the first minute or so in terms of introducing something new. I was like, okay, all right, this is what we're doing, and then it just kept going on and on and on. And I was like, okay, end it, pull the plug.
I feel like it once it gets going.
It's 5 minutes long. Oh, excuse me, 5 minutes and 43 seconds.
It's 6 minutes of more or less the same thing.
So
Hang the Pope was 45 seconds.
So Jesse was asking me like how do you dance to this stuff? Like what are you doing exactly? I guess the best way to kind of describe it is, well, you know, you certainly don't dance with the way that, and maybe other people would give you a different sort of vision of what this is, but my experience with industrial and clubs and dancing was, you know, a group of people kind of in a circle doing a lot of like high knees and, you know, and elbows, and it's very robotic. But it's got a certain soul to it. It's got a certain swing. So kind of, it's kind of what if robots.
I swear, dude. The image that you're painting in my picture has got to be the silliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. No disrespect to anybody who does it.
You know, and it gets out a lot of aggression without, you know, punching your neighbor in the face or anything. I mean, believe me, there were periods of my life where I preferred to go to the goth industrial clubs than I prefer to go to metal shows because I knew I wasn't going to get punched. But I could get out the same amount of.
Because they were pussy.
I had to go to work the next day and I couldn't go in with a black eye like when I went to Helmet. Literally stayed out of the pit until they played. In the meantime, stepped into the pit, immediately got punched in the eye.
End up with you don't have enough steaks for that many black eyes.
So I'll when the podcast is over, if I can find some YouTube videos of like people dancing to it, you kind of see what I mean. But it's very stiff, but it swings. It's weird.
That's what she said. Oh no! I got a twin crying game on you. Oh no.
And I'll tell you this: the best industrial dancers were always short Asian guys. They could fucking cut a rug. They were amazing. That was my experience.
Yeah. I'm imagining a bunch of kids in panda bear makeup and black trench coats doing water aerobics.
Well, I'll send you a video, okay? Let's just drop it for now. From the 2011 album, What the Fuck? WTF ? This is Amnesia.
Nowhere to run,
tremendously familiar with, but I liked it a lot. Thought it was a fun song. Very danceable. Certainly like it's a change of pace to have the Lucia singing it versus Sascha Konietzko. What are your thoughts there, Coop?
I thought it was passable. It wasn't my favorite. I think I like the remix even less. It was just kind of okay. If it were worse, I was going to go with the quip of, well, I wish I had amnesia so I could forget the song. But, waka, waka, waka. Yeah, so it was an okay song. I think my favorite's Next, which is like the best fucking song on this album by far.
It's one of the best fucking songs by the band by far.
Because it's straight fucking metal.
On the metal hammer of doom. Jesse.
Right.
Hey, Amnesia, we bring in a little bit of, I think this has a real flavor of goth in this particular song. With the,
really?
This,
Why do you
I think, well, I get the, I have not listened to any, but I would say that if there's any, you got the choir sort of singing Amnesia, you got her singing in a kind of a slow tone, and granted, it's a little bit more upbeat and more to dance. You can dance to it. This seems like one of the more slower songs off of the album, and to be honest, I didn't like it, and I hated the fact that they put it on here twice because I think the remix is absolute trash that they put at the end. I didn't like that either. But again, it might just be because they slowed it down that I didn't like it so well. But if this is their thing, this is their thing. It's still got a beat. You say you can dance to it. I don't know if I could. I could nod my head. Maybe.
Let me first say this before this goes any further. In case there's anyone listening to this who's now slitting the wrist because you compared this to goth, this ain't goth. This ain't even close. You want to know what goth sounds like? Go listen to Christian Death. It's probably the most like premier, iconic goth band that I can think of. Christian Death, okay? And after it, you'll probably want to kill yourself. I frankly hate goth music. My friends all liked it. Most of my friends that used to go clubbing with me were big into goth. I sort of treated goth the same way that I treat Opeth or doom metal. Just oh my God, life's not so bad. Cheer up. It's just fucking awful. We lost Coop there for a second. He'll dial back in. While we're waiting, I'll tell you. I kidded you before about taking your wife to go dancing. This was our second date, Melissa and I. I went to the local goth industrial club here in Tampa. If you're visiting, it's called the Castle, and it's in Ybor City. Assuming it's still there. I don't know. I haven't been there in years. But in between marriages, when I was single and trying to find my way in the world again, I was going out with a couple of friends, and in this particular case, me and two gals that I was friends with decided we were going to go to the Castle and go dancing. And now this is 2007, 2008, somewhere in there, probably 2008 now that I'm thinking about it. And the music had definitely drifted away from a lot of the stuff that I was familiar with, but I still enjoyed going. I was comfortable in that scene. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if the music itself was like, I don't know what any of this sounds like, and it definitely leans more towards house and techno than it did the more industrial and metal, for sure. And then they mix in a little 80s in there occasionally, which made me happy. Because I used to love, oh my God, I used to love the 80s clubs. That was another good one for me in the buds. But my future wife at the time, she was like, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm like, oh, me and two other girls are going to a club. Why? And we'd only had one date at this point. I'm like, why? What's up? She was like, oh, well, can I come? And I'm like, I'm going with two other girls. Are you sure? And she was like, are you dating them? And I'm like, no, they're just friends. One's married. And her husband just doesn't go out. And she's like, yeah, man, take me along. So when the girl you're dating offers to go on a date with you with two other girls, she's probably a keeper. Just throw that out there. All right,
sure.
This is the main event. Really, it all goes downhill after this. This is as far as songs that aren't on the Nihil album that are heavy and awesome and truly would be considered, at least in the Venn diagram of metal. This is by far the best album. This crank this one up to 11. This is KMFDM from the Angst album, A Drug Against War.
Americans will be killing each other. Americans will be killing each other. Americans will be killing each other.
Scary.
Scary for everyone.
Gentlemen, KMFDM is A Drug Against War. Doesn't get any better than that. I'll tell you this. When we would go to the clubs and they would play the heavier stuff for us to mosh to, seriously, someone was getting fucked up during that song. That was a good one to weed out the weak. Because if you were left standing, you were one of the strong ones. Meanwhile, there were other people carrying their friends off the pit out of the pit like a fucking battleground.
Oh, it's brutal, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
dude. Yeah. This one, another good one where people got fucked up were House of Pain's Shamrocks and Shenanigans, the Butch Vig mix. Have you ever heard that?
I know the song, but I don't know if I've heard that mix.
You've never heard like the heavy version of Shamrocks and Shenanigans?
If I have, it's been a while. It's okay. I know fucking House of Pain, especially back in the fucking mid '90s. That was an album that I had, sir. As we've discussed, I was definitely into rap.
Well, I'm not gonna. This is normally the part of the show where I go, "Ooh, let me go pull it off of YouTube real quick."
I will find it.
Yeah, just know it's out there. Shamrocks and Shenanigans by House of Pain, the Butch Vig mix. People will get messed up during that song. That was also around the time that Rage Against the Machine came out, and so it would be like a set. It'd be like Drug Against the War, Shamrocks and Shenanigans, fucking Body Count, and and then into like Killing in the Name of, and by the end of it, you know, by the end of it, you had made a new friend because you'd punched each other in the face. It was great. It was a brotherhood of violence. But Coop, that one lift your spirits. That one make you happy.
Yes, very, 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 very much so. Though I gotta ask. Okay, it's been bugging me. They sampled something I can swear it's Slayer for that guitar riff.
Probably.
Do you hear? You hear it, right? The
yeah, I know they sampled Slayer on Godlike. It wouldn't surprise me if they had sampled Slayer for other songs.
Maybe it might not have been Slayer. I was like, that's actually what we were talking. I was like, let me see if I can figure out who the fuck if they sampled anything. Because yeah, it was like when I was listening to it, I'm like, yeah, that song's still fucking awesome. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I cannot place because in my car I haven't listened to enough metal. What has been in my car for the past week? Throw some blood. Still in the car. It just ends up. It just ends up every time on that TV.
Another fun thing to do when you're not looking up House of Pain songs. Look up the video for Drug Against War. It's pretty trippy. It's a lot of their artwork that they just like brought to life. It's fun. It's don't watch it high. At least not on hallucinogens. At least you'll be sorry. But no, it's a. I actually am such a drug addict. For the longest time I was
on
like
drugs. Teetotaler. But no, sir, you're on drugs tonight, buddy.
I am on drugs. All right. Speaking of on drugs, this next song from the 2005 album Haruk. This is Professional Killer.
Conquer your world. Study you quietly. Count the ways I'll do anything you say. There will be no holding back. Legions of me. So cruel. Longing eternally. Bittersweet possibility. Tiger on the attack. Ready to bleed. Professional
Yet another one of their clubbier, dancier, beatier songs. I like it. It's fine. It's a hard come down though after a Drug Against War. I feel like there should have been like a more middle ground song after that. But
it's like
it's
switching
right.
fucking genres like that. I mean, it's
Sharp
some
contrast.
dancey stuff. Yeah, I agree.
But overall, I like it. You know, like I said, I wasn't as familiar with KMFDM's post-audio stuff. Just because I thought the band broke up, and then they tended to not. From what I was listening to, they tended to not be as heavy as they used to be. So I kind of stayed away for a while. But as I listen to this album, I definitely feel like I need to go back and revisit some of these albums. And it looks like they put out one a year at least. They're a prolific
they were
band.
busy. Wow.
Yeah.
I was sitting here scrolling down through their their discography on Spotify, and the little fucking scroll bar kept getting, like, it would go down on the bottom, then all of a sudden it'd jump right back up to the middle and get real short. And I'm like, shit. And it did that like 5 times. Their first album on Spotify is 1986, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. They've been in the business for a while, and they put out an album. I mean, frequently is probably the best way to put it. It's crazy.
What Do You Know, Deutschland, 1986, which is, fun if you're not looking for anything tremendously heavy. Which is followed by Don't Blow Your Top, which I used to run around telling people, by the way. when I got really into KMFDM and I went back and started listening to their back catalog, and I heard the song Don't Blow Your Top. I used to quote that constantly. I was like, don't you blow your top. I go, fucking Radulich.
Fucking Radulich and his KMFDM. Gosh.
Cooper, Don't You Blow Your Top. Tell me about this song.
Oh, you little bastards. Sorry, I had to go to Principal McVicker on that one. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if this, I guess, no, it wasn't a sample. It's just a riff sorry, I'm still on a Drug Against War.
Did you see the
searching?
Did you Wikipedia Drug Against War? Apparently, this is like one of the most popular speed metal songs of all time.
Which is interesting because they're not a speed metal band, like, at all.
No.
It's just
strange.
It's weird. That is weird. I had not heard that song before this. It's a cool song. I dig it. But yeah, I guess it's not necessarily. I think it's because I was playing the riff that I had in my head that sounds similar to it. I'm like, nah, it's not really a sample. It's just it's like a variation. Like, like you're like, okay, well that kind of sounded like that, and now it doesn't. So, I don't know. I'll remember it like one day. I'll be fucking sitting on a toilet at work or something and just be like, wait a minute.
I'm actually disappointed because I was hoping you would play this at work and you would regale us with stories of you and the Mexicans you work with listening to this, and then going, Cooper, this is a different look for you. Where did you get this from? Why are we listening to dance music?
Oh no, I pull that out. I pull Japanese disco funk out every once in a while.
Turning heads.
Just to really mess with everybody.
So I love KMFDM, you love KMFDM, but some people say KMFDM sucks. And who are we to argue? This is a total professional radio intro, wasn't it? How terrible am I? From the album Angst, this is a remix of KMFDM Sucks. This is KMFDM Still Sucks.
We like talking dirty, we smoking, we drink.
remix doesn't do a whole lot for me. I still think the lyrics are hilarious, and I remember, gather around, children, I'm going to regale you with another tale. I remember we met a lot of people going to these clubs. We made a lot of friends. Don't have too many of these friends now. People come together and fall apart as time goes on. But for a couple of years there, we had quite the large grouping of people that would go out clubbing, dancing, and listening to music and hanging out. Our circle of friends grew quite large because of it. And I remember even those who, we just would talk to when we went to the club. They weren't necessarily people we hung out with outside of there, but it was like, it'd be kind of like cheers because we went pretty often. And, we'd walk in like, hey, Norm, what's going on, Norm? What's going in, Norm?
Norm in one of those clubs. That's what's going through my head right now.
Exactly. Just imagine him dancing. Just shuffling in the boots. But I remember there were some guys who were older guys that had been into the goth industrial scene for years. They would not be Johnny come lately that we were, and they took it way seriously, and they knew a lot more about the genre than I ever will and care to know. And I remember when Angst came out and they heard this song and threw their hands up and decided they were done with KMFDM.
Oh wow!
So it might be something that you said, Starcher. You and I were messaging each other about this, and he was like, boy, if you didn't know the name of the band, they'll certainly remind you a number of times.
They will.
And that kind of started with Angst, if I remember correctly. And I remember that was a huge complaint, especially with Sucks. It was just like, oh my God, we don't need to stop saying your name in your music. You're not rappers. They just hated it. They absolutely Angst was like the Black Album for KMFDM. It brought in all these new fans, and the old fans were like, "What the fuck is this? Get out of here!
Get the fuck out of here! What the fuck?
You are crowding our scene."
Well, it shows that these guys aren't taking themselves seriously. I mean, just like I said earlier, and you mentioned in the chat, these guys, I would have, if this was that, lockdown serious of a genre or lockdown serious of a band up until this particular song, I could understand some people going, oh shit, what is this turning into? I laughed when I heard this song. I was like, man, this is some hilarious stuff. I mean, they're sitting there telling you they hate rap, and then you hear in this particular remix, I can't remember what the original sounded like, but you hear a guy fucking scratching. And I'm like, okay, these guys are not in any way, shape, or form trying to get over on you in any way. They're there to entertain. So, boy, that's unfortunate that they lost a lot of. If they lost those hardcore fans just because of something like that, that's pretty rough. But they gained a whole shit ton more.
It's not like I was keeping a census at the time, but I just remember it was. There's always, in almost anything, you're going to have somebody who's like, I was the original fan, and gets very, upset and frustrated when new fans come into it, sort of ruining his experience. We talk about this with, offline with our friends, Casual Heroes with wrestling. You have your hardcore wrestling fans, then you have, the kids and the casuals and and the families that get into it and sort of fuck up the experience for the hardcore fans that want a certain kind of wrestling that doesn't appeal to mass audiences. And it's that kind of thing just repeated ad nauseum throughout the culture. There's always, for every cultural entity, there's always going to be a guy holding up his nose going, I was here first, the rest of you stink.
Yes. That's the truth.
Does KMFDM suck, Robert Cooper? What is your thoughts?
If I judge by this song, yes.
Did you laugh at all at the lyrics, or did the song just bug you overall?
I got a chuckle.
You got a chuckle?
It gave me a chuckle. I was like, oh, you.
Now you're a youngin' though, Coop. You never had any one of your friends try to drag you to one of these clubs. They never took you dancing.
Yeah, I do not usually have friends that try to drag me dancing.
Okay, all right. I started going to dance clubs when I was probably like 15 years old, and I really didn't stop.
That would require me to get out of the house besides like marching band.
And I don't think I really. I mean, there would be periods where I couldn't do it, or I was just busy, being a grown up. But I would say from 14, 15 years old up until Melissa and I went to the Castle, and then I think maybe we went 2 other times after that and just haven't been back since. She occasionally brings up wanting to go, and I'm like, no. See, now I feel differently about it. Now I'm just like, enough. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm very happy, like I'll still go to metal shows. Matter of fact, we're going to go see Prophets of Rage October 1st, and then go see Clutch. But like the whole idea of like going to a dance club and staying out till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting tired just talking about it, and I'm on drugs.
Oh man, there's no fucking way, dude. Shit, no way. I mean, I can't even once you hit. I think 35. I don't know if just staying up late is is like kryptonite or something. There's no way I could do it. I can't stay up past 12. Kids or no kids, you just start to get tired.
But you know what you have to look forward to very soon. As a matter of fact, your eldest daughter, your number one girl, she's gonna have friends.
Motherfucker.
And then she's gonna have friends, and those friends might want to say, "Hey, let's go to the club. Let's go dancing." You gonna let her go?
Let's talk about that at a later date.
There's a teen night. There's a teen night at a club a couple of miles from here. We got someone to take us. Will you let me go, Dad? What do you think, huh? She comes home talking about KMFDM. What do you think? You gonna go for it?
Well, I would absolutely probably say no. And I think you would too. Because you fucking grew up with those clubs. I mean, certainly there was some kind of shady shit going on at the clubs. This isn't all ages teen night, whatever, man. No way.
Really? You wouldn't want to go to teen night? I started with this shit. And I didn't get in any trouble.
You didn't get in any trouble?
No.
You're going, okay. Okay. All right. The answer's still no.
Most of the teen nights that I went to were relatively passive in that sense. They were look. The guys were there to make money. The club owners were there to make money. If it got out of hand, if it got crazy, they were going to lose. I mean, those teen nights attracted a lot of kids. A lot of kids. I mean, you couldn't breathe sometimes. The club was so packed. And the thing of it is that we would keep coming as we got older. Eventually you turn 18 and can get into the adult nights. Eventually you turn 21 and you can buy alcohol.
So it's all a matter of getting you hooked, and that's what the whole point of the teen night is. Oh, man.
Absolutely. All right.
If I'm chaperoning, maybe. All right, we'll do it that way.
You're gonna drive them and go into the club with them. You're gonna be that guy. You're gonna be that dad.
I'll just hang out here in the corner, kids. Don't worry.
You're gonna be the creepy guy at the bar. Why is there no?
You're gonna get tackled.
And there absolutely were a couple of creepsters at the bar on a teen night, but stay away from those people. All right.
Yeah.
We're back to 2005. Haruk. This is Free Your Hate. Free Your Hate from Haruk. What do you guys think? Scoop?
I'm still trying to find that fucking riff.
And we've lost Coop for the evening.
Coop is stuck at song 6.
I went through 5.5 albums of Slayer.
It's like, no, not that one. Not that one.
No,
not that one.
It is in my head. I can hear like that riff and then the bridge, but I don't remember what came afterwards. I mean, this song here. Let me see. Which song was this one again? This was Free Your Hate. Like honestly, like a Drug Against War, amazing, and then it kind of just starts. It's like being pushed down a hill. Like, you know, like you keep rolling, maybe you stop when you hit a rock. So, like, we'll hit the occasional rock, and then as we try to get back up and dust ourselves off, we end up falling back down the hill.
Okay.
Alrighty. You're gonna be a little nicer to the song, or you're not into it either?
Oh, I'm all right with it. I think it's me personally. I think it's a pretty decent. You gonna. What is somebody whistling there, Coop? You trying to still whistle the riff out there, buddy?
Oh shit, that was in the mic. I'm sorry.
I think I realized why I think these albums are so long, and that is because I'm used to the dubstep and the techno that gets played, and those songs usually aren't more than, you know, at maximum 3 minutes. So when we hit a 5-minute song, or like the bulk of these songs actually on this album are just breach 5 minutes a little bit. So I enjoy the song Free Your Hate. I think it's good at the beginning, but then it's a little too long in the tooth. We'll put it that way. And as for its placement in the album and compared to the rest of the songs, I'm kind of with Coop when he says meh. I mean, it's there. It's not one of those ones that stand out to me compared to the rest of the tracks.
All right, let's turn the page and move on here.
My favorite one coming up.
Yes, Starter's Choice from 2007's Tuhuva Bohu. This is the title track, Tuhuva Bohu. I was just thinking back in 2009. My friend and I brought my friend who, he's from Tennessee, big old country boy. But he actually used to be big into like the St. Petersburg dance and techno scene. I actually think he's DJ. So I thought, you know what, you might actually like KMFDM. I introduced the band to him, and me and him around Halloween went and saw them, and they had this really, really cool KMFDM Halloween T-shirts for the tour. And I believe this was the tour that supported the album Blitz, if I remember correctly. Oh God, it was so long ago, I can't remember. But so yeah, that one, you like it, but I'm a little.
Oh man, the only reason I like this particular song is because in 10 years they need to do a Confucius Say remix of this particular song, because things such as "Man who farts in church sits in his own pew," things such as that. That would be awesome. It's nothing but Confucius Say for the Confucius Say remix. This is a cliche song, and that's all they say. Now, granted, there's got to be some deeper meaning here, and I'm not the deepest person. I'm pretty shallow when it comes to looking at some of these lyrics, especially when I hear the song after 2 or 3 times. So, but all I hear is just nothing but, I mean, come on. You never know what you've got. You never know until it's gone. So he speaks Latin here in the middle. I assume this is Latin. I don't know, and I'm sure that means something. But I mean, all I hear is just nothing but cliche after cliche, and it's my favorite off the album.
Coop, are we still obsessed with this one sample, or are you going to participate in the discussion?
Oh, no, I can participate. I'm still trying to figure it out, though. This is going to drive me crazy. I hate it when I can't figure out a fucking riff. God. But, yeah, almost something as much as I dislike as not being able to figure out a riff is, this song didn't do much for me. Yeah, I was like, we'll do techno dancey, Like, I really felt like there was this kid in high school named Chris Ranahan who used to kick me in my bad leg with his steel-toed boot. And thought it was funny. Yeah, and he thought it was funny because I wouldn't hit him back. And I was a lot bigger than him. But he used to swing around glow sticks in the middle of in between classes like a jackass.
What's the guy's name again?
Chris Ranahan.
Chris Ranahan, if you're listening to the Metal Hammer of Doom, we all agree you are a douchebag.
Oh, he's definitely a douchebag. It was funny. Like, my best friend, still friends with him. And apparently the guy left his, I mean, it wasn't a fucking amazing career, but he was working at the Hilton Hotel, making okay money. And then he's like, I'm going to go on a fucking cruise. I'm going to take $7.50 an hour to work on a cruise so I can get some ass, even though he has a girlfriend. And you know what? He was fucking miserable. And I was so fucking happy about that. That was such a cunt. God, I hated him.
All right. This next track should be heavier than it really is. I think I remember listening to it when it first came out and was not tremendously impressed. I don't know. I have to listen to it again and see how I feel. This is from the album World War III from the year 2003. This is World War III.
Didn't like that one?
No, not really. I actually remember, I feel like they played this one live, and even then I was like, God, speed this up.
Oh, it's like, I guess one of their more political songs off the album. They kind of feel politically charged.
This one's no fun. I don't like it.
Fucking politics anyway. Damn it.
Yeah.
I thought I was
KMFDM.
the one that hated fun.
You're fun time Robert Cooper. How the fuck can you hate fun, man?
Well, because I have to be loosened up. You know, I'm like, sometimes you just got to get the pear out.
The pear?
The pear. You don't know about the medieval torture device, the pear?
I don't know what I had a bowl of pears earlier. I can't say I know what the hell there was. I certainly wasn't tortured.
It's shaped like that pear, and it's got a crank, and it just opens, and you stick it in an orifice.
Oh, jeez.
The pear. It's the pear.
Loosen them up, folks.
Yeah.
Let's along here.
I had to do in my freshman year of high school, had to do a project on medieval torture devices, which was great because in my presentation, I had memes and pictures of dogs and Darth Vader outfits in the corner just because I thought that would be funny to juxtapose. And seeing now that I'm 24 instead of like 15, yeah, that's still funny. Yeah, this song didn't do me much. Again, I think it's like the back half of this greatest hits is really dancey and techno.
Yeah, I don't even find like it tremendously danceable either. Like I don't think I could really get myself up to dance to World War III. It's just one of those. They're whining about the world and complaining, and and we have something to say. Oh, wonderful. Get back to the heavy or get back to the silly. Like Juke Joint Jezebel, it's not on here. I'm really surprised, by the way, because it's one of their big hits. But Juke Joint Jezebel from the Mortal Kombat soundtrack is incredibly dancing. I said to you offline, or on the messenger, I said, if you don't get up and dance to Juke Joint Jezebel, you're dead inside. It's absolutely dead. All right, speaking of dead, we are coming to the end of this podcast. We want to do plugs, we want to do final thoughts, so let's get her done. This is track 12 from the album WTF ? This is our final song that we're going to do because we're not going to do the final two remixes. It's just repeats. So this is Crank. Not a bad one to go out on. It's fine. I have, like I said, if I could have picked, a best of KMFDM, it would have been a lot different. Certainly would have been a little bit more focused on their much older stuff. But whatever.
Is this
it's fine.
Is this their first greatest hits album?
No.
Certainly can't be.
No.
There's KMFDM worse. There's greatest shit. There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Okay.
But like I said, all you need to know is money, angst, nihil, extort. Done. That's it. If you don't listen to any other KMFDM, you'll be just fine.
Well, let me just say, I had to go to the online lyrics just to make sure I understood what the hell was going on here. Because I swear that...
Of course, Robert Winfrey would know about the fucking pair.
Let's see what.
I had right before you cut it off, it sounded like he says, "Actung, here we come." Okay, and then he says, "With another motherfucking," and I swear the dude he said, "Another motherfucking dirty bum." I was like,
"No, dirty bomb."
Dirty bomb. That doesn't rhyme with cum in any way, shape, or form. So I was going with bum, and I'm like, what the hell is he bringing a bum for? What?
I'm a dirty bum. You're singing around potty trained 2-year-olds.
Anyway, Crank. Yeah, I don't know. I like this one. I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
If you want to get in my final, let me go ahead and I'll give my final thoughts real quick.
Sure.
It's always an educational experience coming on here to the Metal Hammer of Doom, and this is yet another instance in where I get the chance to listen to a band you guys are somewhat familiar with, in Cooper's case, and Mark's obviously grown up with this band. I've never had the chance to hear them. That being said, this particular album, I enjoyed it. I will listen to it again most likely, and those first 3 songs at the beginning of this album are some of the best, techno. Some of the best techno I've heard on the Metal Hammer of Doom. How's that? It'll get you moving though. It'll wake you up and it'll get you moving. That's what the kind of music that I like to listen to. That is in the techno genre, the dubstep, whatever you want to say. That's the kind of stuff that I like. I don't like the slower stuff because it doesn't fit with that particular. That might be why I didn't like Amnesia. Again, I'm going back to that. But hey, thumbs up for me. I enjoyed the album.
Coop, give your final thoughts.
I still can't place it.
Check back in a week.
Oh, dude, it is in my CD collection. I figured that out. So it's not really Slayer, but son of a bitch. Like, I know I've played it multiple times. I just can't place it. Anywho, this final song, it was really dancey, techno-y, dubstep-y, whatever you want to call it. Not quite my thing. I'll agree with Jesse on this one. Those first, let's say, 3 songs, really well done. A Drug Against War, fucking awesome, great song. And then the rest of this ranges from okay to just not my thing. Like, I'm not even going to say it's bad, because if this is your thing, hey, good on you. But, yeah, most of this is just not for me. A Drug Against War is, and so is that fucking riff. I'm going to be thinking about this all night now.
All right.
I had to sing it in the car anyways, because my mom's going to be in it tomorrow, and God, I don't want to hear that nagging.
Occasionally, an album comes along that reminds you that you like a band, and then you get all nostalgic and you go back and you listen to their older stuff. That's what happened with this. I listened to KMFDM Rocks, Milestones Reloaded, and I immediately was like, hey, what's not on here, but an album that I loved and one of my favorite KMFDM albums of all time, Nihil. And so it reminded me, just in general, how much I really liked this band, how passionate I was about this band. It brought back a flood of, some of which I talked about tonight, but a flood of memories of days gone by where, me and the boys would go clubbing, all the girls and girlfriends we met, all the broken hearts that occurred. I have lived a life, better than some, worse than others, more exciting than some, not exciting at all compared to others. But this was part of it. This was a soundtrack to a big part of my life, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. And this album has the dubious honor of reminding me that this band's part of my soul. So I have a personal sort of opinion of it, good, bad, or indifferent. At least I remember that I still love this band and that there's a lot here for me to go back and look through. There's plenty of new stuff that I've never heard before, and I'm going to be busy, in between other albums that we're reviewing and more albums that are coming out this year. In between those, I'm definitely going to be checking out, some KMFDM back catalogs that I've missed over the past 10 years. And for that, I'm glad that they signed to a new label and they were able to put this together. I wish they had included a couple of other songs versus some of the ones they included on here. I'd wished that some of the remixes were a little better. But overall, I've had fun tonight. This was a trip down memory lane for me. And one of the things that I always enjoy about music, and why, especially having Jesse on the show, is that I enjoy sharing music with people that they've never heard before and making them fans. And anytime that I'm successful in doing that, I feel good. Especially bands that are very little known and need the exposure. So I'm glad I at least turned one more person on to KMFDM. And I hope I've turned you on to KMFDM tonight, those of you that have listened to this that have never heard the band before but liked our show and wanted to see what we were talking about tonight. So if you came away with a love of KMFDM and want to check out their back catalog, I hope you have a Spotify membership, because otherwise you're going to be spending a lot of money. Or unless you do torrents and steal. But either way, hope I made you a fan if you weren't already. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Let's get into plugs here. Let me just do this one real quick. Jesse Starcher and I are partnering up for the month of September to bring you Alan Moore Month. Last week we had a panel of guests on to discuss The Watchmen. This week we will be having another panel of guests on to discuss the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And I'm only a few pages into the comic. I got to finish reading it tomorrow. But Jesus, the movie is nothing like the comic. I mean, it's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in name only.
I actually finished the book yesterday, and I haven't watched the movie yet, so it's interesting. You're doing it opposite of the way I am, but that's pretty much what I've heard. Is it's just there's nothing, it doesn't compare almost.
No, it's where we'll have a lot to complain about tomorrow. All right, just what are we doing in the weeks to follow? Next week we're covering the new Brujeria album. The week after that is the new Every Time I Die. The week after that, we are off. We'll be back the following week with Epica. The week after that, the new Metallica. The week after that, the new Korn. The week after that, the new Testament. The week after that, the new Opeth. We're going to take a break and cover some old albums for the next 2 weeks in the month of November. As we say, November is Turkey Month, so we're going to review a couple of turkeys. First one is Anthrax Stomp 442, an album that truly sucks. And the other one, Poison, Look What the Cat Dragged In, so that we can have a nice laugh. We get back on the stick November 30th with the new Meshuggah. And just added to the schedule, December 7th, Metal Hammer of Doom Helmet, Built to Last. Yeah, boy, new helmet. I am very excited. After that, Super Joint Ritual. And then on December 21st, we'll do our year-end spectacular. I know Jesse's very excited about this. He fits the idea. I'm going to let him run the show. What's the plan for the year-end spectacular, Jesse? What's going on here?
Dude, it's going to be a blast. We each get to pick our 3 favorite tracks from the year that we have covered here on the Metal Hammer of Doom. So we're going to go through, we're going to pick our 3 favorite tracks. We may throw in a couple fun little, I don't know, awards or of some sort where, okay, this album sucked award. I don't know, something like that. You know what? I actually listened to some Surgical Meth Machine over the weekend just by accident because hey folks, cheap, real quick plug. There is a Metal Hammer of Doom 2016 playlist on Spotify. So I just hit random on that, and I was listening to some stuff. I don't think I hate Surgical Meth Machine as much as I thought I did, or at least as much as Coop does. There was some stuff in there that I actually like listening to. But anyway, so yeah, we're definitely gonna pick our 3 favorite tracks. You guys each will pick 3. I'll pick 3. We'll come together. We'll play them, and we'll talk about why we like them. We'll maybe talk about the worst track, worst album, something like that. But it'll be a lot of fun. It's a celebration about how we went through the Metal Hammer of Doom in 2016, all the fun stuff that we did. So I look forward to that. I can't wait.
I already know which one I'm picking. I have one song I'm picking. And
for top track?
It gets the award this year for catchiest terrible song. The song that
everybody's fucking in the UFO.
Yeah, baby. Everybody's fucking in the UFO. Well,
everybody's fucking in the UFO. Like I woke up singing that song one morning and I was pissed at myself.
It's so bad, but it's so catchy. I'll be in the car. I'll be in the car on my way to work before I started this diet, so I started trying to keep myself awake. And I'll just be in the car and just go, everyone's fucking in the UFO. I'll say, everyone's fucking in the UFO. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, prepare to hear that.
A lot of good, a lot of bad in the year of 2016. I can't wait to talk about it.
All right. Speaking of which, why don't you hit the rest of your plugs?
All right. For myself, you can catch me at Stiznarchy on Twitter. Don't forget to give the Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like. You can stay up on top of all the great podcasts that the Radulich and Broadcasting Network has to offer. This coming Friday, I think this is going to be my first metal concert that I'm going to. Okay,
Woo!
I've been to some Clutch and I've heard some heavy bands, but I think these guys are definitely going to be taking the cake when it comes to metal in regards to the concerts that I've gone to. Anyway, so I'm going to go see Scar Symmetry, a good buddy of mine who's been on my podcast, Source Material. His name is Stephen Marsh. Good Stephen Marsh. He's going to be joining the trip up there to Columbus. We're going to watch Scar Symmetry. The supporting bands are Arsis, Shattered Sun, and Painted in Exile. So I will come back here next week, our next show, and I will give a full report on what that was like. Marsh is already asking me if I'm jumping in the pit, and I told him I talked to Mark Radulich, and I'm already scared. So
don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Now, Source Material. I do a podcast on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network called Source Material, where we talk about some of the great and not so great story arcs in the comic book genre. If you check it out, along with Alan Moore Month, since I'm dedicating a lot of my time on Thursdays with Mark, I took some He-Man mini comics and we discussed them and split it up amongst the month of September for Monday. So we've got quick mini episodes coming to you talking about, I call it the September He-Man mini comic spectacular. So this week just happened to be part 2 where we talked about Ram Man and Trapjaw. And my upcoming next week on Monday, we're going to be discussing stories about Stinkor.
Yeah.
And his Dutch oven armor and slime pits. So tune in. They're quick episodes. That's one of the things that I really like about it because it's so easy to edit. They're only like 20 to 30 minutes. You can easily start it and finish it and have no problem in one setting. So check it out. That's all I have.
All right, Cooper, hit it.
Well, let's see. First, you got this fucking song in my head that I can't play. I will.
You will. You will forget the riff tomorrow and wake up with everybody's fucking in a UFO.
That's what I'm worried about. I have spent so much time on this podcast preoccupied with like 5 seconds of guitar. In terms of plugs for podcasts, there's this podcast. I like it. It's pretty nice. I'm on it all the time. There's a Hentai Friends Happy Go Fun Time podcast that I like to call the Hentai Writer podcast, where myself and my friend Hunter, we talk tokusatsu. Are we going to do something soon? Well, it's almost been 2 years, so sure, why not? When Kamen Rider X8 comes out at the beginning of October, Hunter told me, oh no, I almost dropped the phone. I dropped the phone. Hunter told me that he is holding me to us doing a podcast again. So, gosh darn it, I guess I'm screwed. I got to do it. So, coming in sometime in the next few months, find us at Facebook at facebook.com/HentaiRiderPodcast. That is SCNTAIRIDER podcast. And finally, my buddy Sean Garmer, love that guy. The WTM network that he has on Spreaker.com, where he does wrestling and video game and sports and reviews. Yeah, he's awesome. Go check out his shit. I think he has a site, if I'm not mistaken, in that is it WTMnetwork.com? Let's make sure. I'm typing in my pooter right now. What is that? What the fuck is that static? That's not the right. Oh well. Sorry, Sean. I forgot your website. I'm a bum.
Poor Coop. He tried.
Yeah, I did. I know it's WTM something, but
yeah.
I just fucking typed that in. Did you say meh?
Net.
No, it's WTMnet.com.
Well, fuck me. TMnet.com. Why would you put net? Sean, what are you doing?
Man.
I think what he should have done is WTMnet.net.
Anywho.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So totally brought it up. Love that guy, even though technically I just kind of insulted his website. Sean. Yeah, check out their shit, check out our shit, check out my shit. Vinland Saga, we should do it sometime. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Oh, hey.
Mark, I wanted to ask real quick.
I want to throw something in here. We are partnering actually with the WTMnet.com. Right now we don't have a whole lot up there, but we've got we'll be starting to post some of our podcasts on that website. So that'll be another area for you to check out. Maybe we might even write for the site. Who knows? I'm not promising anything. Don't bother.
I just in my bio. He's like, you send me your bio. I'm like, sure, Sean, I'll do it after I get off work. That was a week ago.
Oh, slacker.
I am a deadbeat dad. I swear. I'm the deadbeat dad of internet writers.
All right, you were saying there, Jesse?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, didn't we have something in the works with these guys? So you answered my question.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's a wrap here on the Metal Hammer of Doom. Like I said, next week we're gonna be taking on Mexican heavy metal, death metal, Brujeria. I can't remember the names of the guys that are actually in Brujeria, but it's a fun little super group. They sing in Spanish. It's a lot of fun. The first track, the single that they released was Donald Trump. Once again, hope you've enjoyed our review of KMFDM Rock's Milestones Reloaded. For the Metal Coop, for the Metal Starcher, I am your mandated reporter, Mr. Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.